Representative Hutchings, the sponsor of this bill, who will give us a few minutes.
This is, I got to tell you, speaking to these groups, I know this microphone is just horrible. It's horrible.
Maybe my bullhorn for a
All right. There we go. This will be better. So, first of all, thank you guys for being up here. This is a very difficult conversation to have usually, and I have been in the legislature now for many years. I have been on this particular appropriations committee that works on corrections and corrections-related stuff since I got in the legislature 14 years ago, and this is the first time that we have been able to have a really serious conversation about serious reforms. And I'll tell you what. So a lot of people get really kind of frustrated about the whole conversation about moving the prison, but I'll tell you what, that sparked off this conversation. So for no other reason than it gives us the opportunity to be able to talk about the whole system. I'm glad the governor brought that up. So the good news, I think, to take away from today is you guys are about to see that I'm very excited to be running what I think is going to be an entirely new epic shift in how we manage corrections and how we do this entire correctional process in the state. Where did it go? Tough on, sorry, the biggest sign. But tough on crime. So we have, for what, the last 3 or 4 decades now, right? The answer is, and the idea has always been that if somebody's out committing crimes, it's because they got a behavioral problem. They got an attitude problem. And you just need to get a big enough stick.
The cops got an attitude problem.
To be able to make sure that they understand that, you know, what you want, the changes that need to be made. And what we have come to understand over the years is that there's an awful lot of people out there that have a great attitude. They have a real problem and they need help. And so what you're going to see, and fortunately what we have been able to gather is over the last several years, the last probably 15 years or so, all across the United States, different states have been making reforms, collecting information on how it's gone, and so we have now an entirely different view. So one of the first things you're going to see, this is going to be a little bit systemic here and maybe a tiny bit boring, but here's how it's going to flow. The first thing that we're going to do is when somebody gets brought in, we're going to sit down and say, why? Why are you here? And there's going to be lots of different reasons. Some people have some serious mental health problems, and you know what? They need help. They need a hand. They're begging for it, right? And it's going to be an entirely different track now, because we'll know right up front the things that were done were not done because somebody just wants to be a bad guy. Okay? Substance abuse, same thing. We're going to do these early assessments right up front, and then there will be entirely different tracks for how we manage that going forward. So I'll tell you, if somebody wants to be a hardcore criminal, we're going to have lots of extra capacity and lots of extra prison beds to start locking up people that really do love being a criminal, want to be a criminal, and hope to die a criminal. Those people are truly a threat to society, and then there are a lot of people that just aren't. And those people will now be taken down entirely different tracks. We're doing a huge amount of reform in how the process is going to function, on how we do the evaluations, how we do supervision, and a lot of people are now going to go outside of our traditional process, and they're going to get the treatment, and they're going to get the help, and we're going to keep them out of prisons, and we got the data to back it up, and this is happening, and in large part thanks to you guys this year.